first my hair out of the way. And for my lips, hydration using the shade Cocoa. As for primer, I don't use primer. I'm not a big fan of it. Or I always just forget. So I always go make sure my skin routine is peak. I use this particular one. Then while I make sure my face is drying, I'm just going to go through my brows. I do them light because this is like an everyday kind of makeup routine. Just go lightly with the brows. I don't do too much because my brows are already shaved, so not too much to do. This is my concealer placement. For you to achieve a no foundation look, you have to first use a concealer that is a little bit lighter than your skin tone, just a little bit. So this is Velvet Stay in shade 9 from Wireless Beauty. I think it should be easy to find in Nigerian beauty stores. While blending, you want to make sure you blend very, take your time. The reason why I'm using Beauty Blender in this case is because it's for beginners and it's like super duper easy to just blend with it. Using a flat brush to highlight my brows. Of Nigeria concealer, when it dries, it's not really nice. After I put it, I just immediately blend, like immediately. And for my contour, this is more of like a bronzer shade. It's the same, it's like a mixture of it, like the particular shade that I'm using. This is the placement for it. I always try to put it at my jawline because when you don't put it at your jawline, it feels like the makeup is a mask. It doesn't connect to like your neck. So try to make sure you put it on your jawline too. So you just want to look for a darker shade of concealer or darker shade of foundation or a darker shade than your skin tone, at least 2. Then you want it to be looking orangey. If you actually notice this particular one looks orangey, that's how you know that okay, I'm dealing with a bronzer or a contour. When you're dealing with a contour, it looks more just dark and like cool tone, more grey. By the way, make sure your beauty blender is damp. By damp, I don't mean wet to squeeze all the water from it. And after blending, this is how the face looks like. So you want to paint your beauty blender for the nose because I like to use the same thing for everywhere. And I'm just using a beauty blender so that it's more easier and it's faster. So I'm adding the bronzer to my lips, on top of my lips to add more plumpness and to make it more pouty. By the way, the bronzer is supposed to bring warmth to your face, okay? While contour adds shadows to your face to create new structures. For my blush, I'm going with a peach and orange. A very bright orange actually, so that it will add more warmth to the. If you're not able to get a bronzer, you can just use your blush, mix it a orange shade, mix it with your contour. Using Adventure in shade 4, I'm just going to use it to highlight the parts we already highlighted before with the lighter shade than my skin tone. This one is way brighter than normal. While blending, you want to make sure you don't go too far from like where you placed the concealer or bronzer or blush. You don't want to blend, you don't want to over blend because that is also a problem. So you want to blend around the placement. I'm going to be using my Sashka palette to be setting my eyes. And before you set your eyes, you want to use the same beauty blender and go over it. Then I use the powder puff on my hand to make sure that the powders is getting to like everywhere on the powder puff so that it can blend well. Then I use the same powders for all the place where I highlighted, the same shade for all the places I highlighted. Using a slightly darker shade, I'm going to use that to set all my face on, including the bronzed and the blush parts. I'm going to go all over it, and especially the blush part. This is to make sure it doesn't appear patchy and it blends all over. Going with a round brush that is not too big, it's a medium size. I'm going to use the powder bronzers on my face, on the parts where I already set my bronzer. For the blush, the powder blush, I'm going to be using a peach. I'm going to be using a angular brush. And I'm going to make sure you dust it because this particular blush that I'm using is very pigmented. So I always dust it off to make sure I don't put too much. It's better to layer than to put too much. Using a slightly darker shade, I'm mixing two particular shades to make sure it's not as dark as the all over bronzer, powder bronzer, to bronze the nose. That's to set it down. Using the same shade that I used to bronze my face, I'm going to use the same shade on my eyelids and also bronze it. While using a flat brush, and I'm going to use my same beauty blender to blend it. And I'm going to use a very dark powder bronzer to bronze my eyelids. That's going to be my eyeshadow look for the day. And I'm going to use the lighter shade of the one that I used to set all over my face. I'm going to use it to set the eyebrow, under the eyebrows, to make it pop. This is to highlight the eyebrow. Makeup look fix. It's more like a water than an alcohol setting spray. When it's around 75% dried, then I just go again with my beauty blender and blend all over. This is to ensure it is well blended. Since my palette has highlights, I'm just going to mix 2 of the highlighter, and I'm going to use that for my nose highlighter. So using the same highlighter, I'm going to go over to my eye to highlight it. That just adds a little twinkle to it. Lip combo time. I'm going to be using these 3 shades. First, I'm going to be going with a brown lip liner to outline my lips. Then I'm also going to use the Mary Kay lip gloss. It's more of a matte lip stain or something like that going on. Then I'm also going to use Adventure, the pink one, and just outline it. Then I'll still use my She Glam gloss to go over the dark lip liners. At this point, I'll wait for myself. I need to do my lashes and boom, I'm done. And I